I just finished week 10 of my Chicago marathon training block and capped it off with a 21-mile long run on Saturday. And I only had one shoe in mind to get me over the hump to take me through that run, and that is the ASICS Superblast. I have had the ASICS Superblast since the beginning of my Boston Marathon training block, which was, I think, January. And I've gotten this shoe to 420 miles at this point. I feel like this shoe is like a runner's shoe. This is a workhorse of a shoe. This is an amazing super daily trainer that ASICS has put out. It's ASICS premium, super daily trainer, max cushion, no carbon plate, super lightweight, fun, comfortable, extremely durable, super shoe. You see people like Kafuzi running CIM in this shoe and doing it well, saying it was pretty comfortable. It doesn't have a lot of bend for a shoe that's not plated. It has two layers of the FF Blast Plus and the FF Turbo foam that ASICS is well known for at this point. Now, I bought the ASICS Superblast when it had first come out. It was $220, and now it's sitting at $200. I got it in the original colorway, which is the Whisper Green and Black, which I still find to be the colorway that pops the most. It's just fun to put it on and take it out, and a lot of people are like, the Superblast. Let's talk about the specs of this shoe. In a men's size 9, this shoe comes in at 8.4 ounces or 238 grams. It has a heel stack of 45 millimeters, a forefoot stack of 37 millimeters with an 8 millimeter drop. That's obviously way above the legal racing limit for if you're going for your podium finish in Boston or Chicago. This is a roomy shoe for sure. I wear a men's size 8, and I still find that I've got some room in the toe box. This is just such a comfortable shoe. The upper, while I've seen some people complain that it's like scratchy and they feel like maybe there's not a lot here, I have found this to be the perfect amount of material for the upper. This is a jacquard woven material. I've found it to be extremely breathable, both in the dead of winter, running long runs in Indiana in late January, early February. I mean, it's still pretty cold in the Midwest, up to now, which is middle of August. We're talking like 90 degrees with a heat index of the high 90s, and it still feels great. What are the key features that make this shoe so unique? Well, it's the Midsole technology. So this has the Flight Foam Blast Turbo, which is ASICS' most advanced midsole material, and it has a lot of energy return and responsiveness, which you absolutely feel on your easy runs, your marathon pace runs, your long runs. I've done some threshold and tempo runs in this. It's not a track shoe. It's not a track shoe. It also has a layer of the Flight Foam Blast Plus underneath that top layer of the turbo, and that kind of adds that I would say adds the stability and the structure to the shoe. So the ASICS Superblast outsole is kind of a rock magnet or anything little on the trail magnet. It's got all these little divots, these little windows that you'll find throughout the shoe, and it does collect things from time to time, but it's never been it's never been an issue for me. I've never found myself like finding a rock that was driving up into my foot. And even if I did, the amount of foam that is inside of the midsole here, you're not going to feel anything but possibly like a carpenter's nail going through a shoe like this. So what is it like to run in the ASICS Superblast? So I will say in hand, when you see it, it's a big shoe. There's a big hunk of foam here, and you're kind of thinking, that's going to be clunky, and it's probably going to be heavy, and it's neither of those. The foam is super responsive. It does have some really nice cushion in there. It's very comfortable, but it's not marshmallowy. It's not like messy underneath. It's very structured and very I don't want to say it's snappy, because it's not snappy. It just feels very comfortable and very secure underfoot. The upper, like I said, super breathable, very lightweight. The lockdown is fantastic. It feels like running in a mix of like a Hoka Bondi, but if the Hoka Bondi had some foam in it, it was much lighter. I did try the New Balance 1080 V12. I think some people might compare this to that, but for me, there is no comparison for this shoe. The shoe is kind of a Frankenstein of ideas and methods and racing technology at the beginning of 2023. And for some reason, it just comes together and works very well. It's kind of surprising in a similar way to like the Saucony Convar Pro, where it's several different kinds of technology that don't really make sense on paper. It's not really what you would draw up as your ideal super trainer, but for whatever reason, the way it's been put together, the way it's been built, it feels comfortable, it feels natural, it's exciting. If anything, if there was one word that I could use to describe the shoe, it would be reliable. I could use the shoe for, like I said, just about anything but track workouts, or I mean, I wouldn't take this out in like a 5K or 10K effort or race, but I do think it can go the distance for anything else. I've done probably, I want to say 6 or 7 long runs. We're talking 20 miles. I took this to Boston with me to do all my shakeout runs in. This has just been such a fun, reliable shoe for me. If there's a shoe that I recommend to people the most, it's going to be the Superblast. It's got a high price tag, even with the price drop to $200, which you can find on runningwarehouse.com. That's still a very pricey shoe for a super shoe, especially one that doesn't have a plate, no carbon, no P-backs, anything like that. But what it does have is it has that massive stack of foam in the side, the FF Turbo, it's just, it works somehow. It works very well. It's just an extremely comfortable shoe. It takes care of your legs on all of your runs. Another thing you'll hear a lot about the shoe is how it's just extremely durable. It's a Swiss Army shoe. You can absolutely make this your like marathon training shoe, pretty much. You can use this, and you can have, I would still recommend you get a different shoe for the race, possibly if you're looking to get really fast and you want some sort of propulsion. You're probably not going to get that in the Superblast, but if you're looking to just be taken care of and feel fresh at the end of the race, the Superblast is going to do that for you. One of the things I will say, if there's any wear that I've noticed on this shoe, it's going to be on the outsole rubber. It's still not awful. There's still a lot of grip. I've never found this shoe to slide very much, but if you look at the heel, at the texture of the heel, you'll see that there's still some of the original design pieces there, whereas the rest of the shoe, they have pretty much scuffed off. They're pretty much not there anymore. But it just goes to show how much I've loved running in this shoe. The other thing I found the shoe to be great for, post-Boston, post that training block, is just having on out and about. Like, I wear the shoe now pretty much just everywhere I go with my family, with my wife and daughter, and I'll use it at work, and it's so comfortable that it's my go-to everyday life shoe at this point. But it's still magic enough for me to pull out and put on even in the Chicago training block for last week's long run. And I'm not sure that I can confidently say I would have felt as fresh this week in a different shoe or at least mentally feel as confident in a shoe right now as I am in the Superblast. I think if I had to say there's a shoe that I've talked about the most this year, it's the Superblast. And if someone's asked me, like, what's your favorite shoe? The Superblast. Which shoe would you recommend for me? My feet are kind of sore. My legs are sore. Superblast. If there's a shoe that you probably talk about in your sleep, what shoe is it? The Superblast. Best money you spent all year, $220 on the Superblast. This shoe, to me, represents all the really exciting things that shoe companies are trying to do by introducing several different kinds of foam, by trying to keep shoes as light as possible, by creating a shoe that is not intended to be necessarily your marathon PR equipment. Especially if you're, again, trying to win the marathon, you're not going to be able to wear these and win them anyways. But the Superblast, to me, is just it's just been my buddy this last year. No, it's not a brand new shoe. It's been out for a while, but I think it's really important that everybody go to their local running store and at least try it on and see what they think. Again, on the higher end for a daily trainer, but I think it's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in a shoe right now. As I was saying in my previous videos, guys, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's kind of a lofty goal, but I'm pushing for it one way or another. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, hit that like button, and also if you've got recommendations or ideas for future shoe reviews, I'd love to hear those. We've got 6 more weeks left until the Chicago Marathon. I will definitely be doing a race day video for that, and I'm pretty sure I'm close to picking up my super shoe for the Chicago Marathon, and I'm sure you'll find out about that soon enough. As always, guys, thanks so much for your support, coming back and checking out these videos. Stay hydrated, get rest. I'll catch you on the flip side.